Niccolò Machiavelli, Rufus Goodwin, Translator, Benjamin Martinez, Illustrator, W.K. Marriott, Translator, DenisDaly, Narrator, Mu Alpha Rho Alpha Kappa Alpha Sigma Omega Tau Kappa Eta, Translator, The Prince. Welcome to the captivating summary of The Prince, a classic from Niccolò Machiavelli that delves into the complex world of power dynamics and strategies used by rulers to gain and maintain control over their subjects. With a keen focus on understanding different systems of governance, the importance of a wise balance between virtue and fortune, and the role of diplomacy and war, this book provides invaluable insight for aspiring leaders or those fascinated by the art of statecraft. Steeped in historical examples and delivered with precision, this summary will sharpen your understanding of the skills and cunning required to navigate the dangerous game of power and politics.
Conquering and Consolidating Power. A guide to maintaining control over newly conquered territories. If you're a prince who has just conquered a new territory, the people will likely view you as an invader and will be difficult to control. But there are 3 essential rules to follow to consolidate power. The first is to move to the principality yourself or send a colony of your own subjects to live there to familiarize them with the ways of your people. This way, the locals will feel appreciated and become accustomed to your administration. The second rule is to safeguard your power by establishing alliances with weaker leaders around your newly acquired principality. By protecting them from more substantial enemies, they will join your state, and together, you can challenge more dominant powers in the area. Thirdly, a prince must always be prepared for an attack from a rival. Be watchful and take preemptive action as early as possible to stop a prospective enemy in their tracks. The ancient Romans did this by preventing any local leader from growing more powerful than others, regardless of their loyalty. They recognized the priority of keeping rivals at bay by limiting their growth. The importance of these rules is illustrated by the French king, Louis XII, who conquered northern Italy but quickly lost control because he flouted these rules. To avoid making the same mistake as Louis XII, any prince or leader should adhere to these 3 essential rules to keep power consolidated over newly acquired principalities. Different types of principality. The book explores the different types of principalities and examines how they can maintain power even after their leader dies. It highlights 2 kinds of principalities, the baron system and the servant system, and explains how the latter creates a more unified country that leaves no room for rebellion. The example of Alexander the Great and his conquest of Persia serves as an excellent demonstration of this principle. The author argues that the choice one makes for the kind of principality to instill should be made according to specific circumstances, including their capabilities, as each system has its own advantages. The role of fortune and virtue in gaining power. In The Prince, Machiavelli argues that whether a prince gains control through military force or international treaties, they must possess both virtue and fortune to be successful. Virtue, in the form of courage, moral strength, character, and leadership, enables a prince to put their fortune to practical use. Romulus, the founder of Rome, is an example of someone who showed virtue and benefited from good fortune. On the other hand, a prince who gains power through the favor of a powerful patron must show virtue to maintain their position. In any case, fortune and virtue are both needed to become a prince. Without virtue, any fortune gained will be short-lived. Without fortune, virtues may be of little use. To establish a long reign as a prince, one must act quickly and virtuously, securing the loyalty of the nobles and building a strong army. Power acquisition. Wickedness, trickery, and virtue, methods for gaining and maintaining power. Agathocles, a simple potter's son, demonstrated that power through wickedness could be achieved by taking over the city of Syracuse with the help of mercenaries. He broke his oath, killed his rivals, and became a tyrant. This showed that wickedness and cruelty were ways to gain power, but only if used carefully. One swift strike of cruelty must be implemented, which can be gradually diminished to appease the masses. Agathocles succeeded by ruling through fear, but cruelty alone may eventually lead to his downfall. Another tactic for gaining power is by persuading the population to support your rule. This can be achieved by protecting and providing for your citizens, ensuring their well-being, and making them feel indebted to you. Even setting slaves free may be enough for them to feel obligated. This method of rule through virtue may require more effort, but it is a more stable form of power. Ultimately, the book demonstrates that there are various methods to gain and maintain power. While wickedness may provide a quicker route, it is not always the best and most stable option. A balance of cruelty and virtue may prove to be the key to successful leadership. The importance of warfare for princes. Warfare is an essential tool that every prince must master to gain and retain power in their principalities. Even during times of peace, it is crucial to keep your armies in top fighting condition as they play a key role in upholding the laws and institutions you create. To prepare for warfare, it is important to study the terrain of your dominion and learn from the great masters of warfare who came before you. Excelling in civil leadership is essential, but the fortunes of a prince can change quickly. Only by continuously preparing yourself and your army for war can you maintain your power and keep rivals at bay. The importance of local armies. The history of several nations, including Romans, Spartans, and Swiss, teaches an important lesson to a prince: only proper local armies can defend a principality effectively. Relying on mercenaries or auxiliary troops may lead to disastrous consequences. Mercenaries are not committed to the survival of a principality, and their independent nature makes them susceptible to plunder during peace and fleeing during war. Additionally, they may overthrow a prince with their troops. On the other hand, relying on auxiliary troops from allied princes may result in a principality being occupied by foreign forces. Therefore, building an army of your own citizens loyal to you is the only way to protect your principality effectively. Balancing generosity and miserliness as a successful prince. As a prince, personal traits that were once private become crucial for maintaining the stability of your principality. Generosity and miserliness are essential traits to balance, as an excessive display of generosity can lead to heavy taxation and financial ruin. While generosity can be effective in boosting popularity, once a prince attains the position, it's wise to come across as miserly, especially for maintaining long-term financial stability. A successful prince knows how to balance both traits for the benefit of their citizens, with relatively light taxation being more desirable in the long run. The power of cruelty. The Roman Empire faced a significant threat from the Carthaginians under Hannibal's leadership, whose success was founded on his vicious cruelty. Hannibal's legacy proffers a lesson: for a prince to preserve his dominion successfully and keep the people unified, he needs to be feared. While being loved seems noble, promises founded on love are liable to be broken, and mercifulness is easily exploitable. The right dose of wickedness and cruelty is necessary to control the army and keeping them disciplined. However, it is crucial to avoid going too far in outright hatred, which engenders instability rather than stability. The best path is to find the right balance between contentment and fear for successful leadership and dominion preservation. The Cunning Prince. In The Prince, the author advises leaders that just like a fox, they should know when to occasionally forget principle in favor of their own self-interest. While integrity is important, a prince should not always keep his word. For instance, a rebel leader causing trouble can be invited for peace talks and then executed swiftly. The outside world should never see this side of you, because as a leader, you should always give the impression of acting in good faith and in accordance with religious and humanitarian values. However, in foreign relations, a good prince must have clear allies and adversaries and stick with them. Being indecisive is the worst possible option. Overall, the book emphasizes the importance of being both strong and cunning for effective leadership. Choosing and maintaining advisors as a leader. To be a successful leader, one must carefully choose their advisors and maintain strong relationships with them. A good leader values honest opinions and rewards those who serve them well. However, a leader must also be cautious and banish advisors working against their interests. It's important to strike a balance between being open to advice but also maintaining control over decision-making. Ultimately, the success of a leader depends on their ability to assemble and effectively work with a team of knowledgeable advisors. Prince's destiny in his hands. Machiavelli's The Prince teaches how fortune and free will influence the destiny of a prince. While half of the future is determined by fate, the other half is shaped by a prince's actions. A wise leader builds dikes against future floods of misfortune. Bold shaping of the future is better than cautious preparation and predicting. Fortune must be forced into obedience. The best master is an impetuous young prince. Machiavelli's The Prince encourages readers to think indifferently about fortune and destiny. Although the culture of the time ascribed powerlessness to the individual as a mere subject to destiny, Machiavelli challenges this belief. According to the author, destiny is a combination of fate and free will, with half being up to fate, and the other half shaped by the prince's actions. The author provides the metaphor of building dikes against future floods of misfortune to protect oneself from the fickleness of fortune. Machiavelli encourages his readers to boldly shape the future, rather than being cautious in their approach to it. The book provides an example of Pope Julius II, who wished to wage war against Bologna. Instead of waiting for his allies to agree to his plan, he marched on the city without delay. The campaign proved to be successful because his impetuous behavior did not allow France and Venetia to object or prepare. The book further encourages readers to think of fortune as a woman that must be forced into obedience and prefers an impetuous young prince over an overly cautious one.
Reflecting on the insightful lessons from The Prince, readers are challenged to grasp the essence of strategic thinking required for successful leadership. By recognizing the nuances of different systems of governance, adopting a combination of fear and mercy in ruling, and being vigilant against potential threats, one can forge a powerful path in the world of political power and influence. Central to this journey is the delicate balance between virtue and fortune, highlighting the need for both personal qualities and the right circumstances to seize and sustain control. In the end, with its engaging, instructive, and well-organized style, The Prince serves as a timeless blueprint for navigating the treacherous waters of politics and power.